Every member of Captain Kirk's family in Star Trek, few names in science fiction are as instantly recognizable as Captain James Tiberius Kirk. The legendary captain of the USS Enterprise is a symbol of courage, curiosity, and charisma, a man whose life among the stars became the stuff of Federation legend. But behind the hero, the explorer, and the Starfleet icon lies a more personal story, one of family, tragedy, and legacy. While Kirk's adventures have been chronicled across television, film, and even alternate timelines, his family has been a mysterious part of his life, appearing only occasionally, yet each time offering a new glimpse into what shaped the man who boldly went where no one had gone before. From his parents on Tarsus 4 to his brother's tragic death, and even to the next generations that carry the Kirk name, here's every known member of Captain Kirk's family in Star Trek, across both the Prime and Kelvin timelines. James T. Kirk, the Starfleet legend himself. Before diving into his relatives, we start with the man at the center of it all, James Tiberius Kirk, born in 2233 in Riverside, Iowa. Kirk is the son of George and Winona Kirk, and he would go on to become one of the most decorated officers in Starfleet history. His middle name, Tiberius, was chosen by his paternal grandfather, a detail that hints at a strong family heritage even in a distant future. Kirk's childhood wasn't easy. In the Prime timeline, he was marked by trauma, surviving the massacre on Tarsus 4, where Governor Kodos ordered the execution of half the colony's population to preserve food supplies. That event deeply shaped young Jim's sense of morality and justice. In the Kelvin timeline, his upbringing was even harsher. His father died the day he was born, thrusting him into a life of reckless rebellion before Starfleet gave him purpose. Despite all differences across timelines, one thing remains the same: Kirk's brilliance, his defiance, and his unshakable belief in the good of exploration are legacies not only of Starfleet, but also of the family who raised him, and the one he lost too soon. George Samuel Kirk Sr., James Kirk's father. In both timelines, George Kirk Sr. stands as the cornerstone of the Kirk family's legacy. In the Prime timeline, George served as a Starfleet officer aboard the USS Kelvin and lived long enough to raise both his sons, George Samuel and James Tiberius. He was a steady, honorable man who inspired his children to follow in his footsteps, even though James' rebellious spirit often took him down different paths. In the Kelvin timeline, George's story takes a tragic turn. Portrayed by Chris Hemsworth in 2009's Star Trek, George dies heroically when the Kelvin is attacked by Nero's Romulan ship. In an act of pure sacrifice, he pilots the doomed vessel alone to buy time for the crew, including his wife and newborn son, to escape. His death cements him as a Federation hero and leaves baby James to grow up without a father. That absence defines the young Kirk's early life, driving much of his recklessness and emotional distance. Though we never meet George Kirk Sr. in the Prime timeline on screen, his shadow looms large over the Kirk brothers, a man whose courage became the standard his sons would always strive to meet. Winona Kirk, the matriarch, Kirk's mother, Winona Kirk, is often an overlooked but vital part of his story. In the Prime timeline, she's largely unseen, though canon establishes her as alive during Jim's early years. Some extended materials suggest she maintained a relationship with both her sons while her husband served in Starfleet, often keeping the family grounded while George was away. In the Kelvin timeline, Winona's role is much more significant. Portrayed by Jennifer Morrison, she gives birth to Jim during the USS Kelvin's catastrophic encounter with Nero. That emotional birth scene, with George sacrificing himself moments after hearing his son's first cries, set the tone for the new era of Star Trek. Winona survives and raises Jim, but the absence of his father creates a different kind of Kirk, angrier, more volatile, yet still destined for greatness. While Winona doesn't appear much in later stories, she represents the heart of the Kirk family, resilient, loving, and enduring through tragedy. George Samuel Kirk Jr., the forgotten brother. Every great hero has a family member whose fate reflects the darker side of their journey, and for Kirk, that was his older brother, George Samuel Kirk Jr., often called Sam. Sam first appeared in Star Trek, the original series episode Operation Annihilate, where he was portrayed by William Shatner himself, sporting a mustache to distinguish him from his more famous sibling. Tragically, Sam and his wife Orlin were stationed on the colony planet Deneva, which was attacked by neural parasite creatures. Sam was found dead when the Enterprise arrived, leaving Jim devastated, another loss in a life already shaped by grief. Sam Kirk's story has recently gained new depth thanks to Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, where he is portrayed by Dan Jennott. This prequel version shows Sam as a xenobiologist serving aboard the Enterprise under Captain Pike, long before his fateful death. His cheerful nature and scientific curiosity provide an early contrast to his brother's boldness, hinting at a family dynamic full of admiration and unspoken competition. Though his fate remains tragic, Sam Kirk's presence in Strange New Worlds enriches the Kirk legacy, showing that the family's Starfleet roots ran deep. Orlin Kirk, Sam's wife and Jim's sister-in-law. Orlin Kirk, Sam's wife, was another casualty of the Deneva incident in Operation Annihilate. Portrayed by Joan Swift, Orlin died after warning the Enterprise about the neural parasites. Her death scene is brief but haunting, a rare glimpse of Kirk's grief for family lost. While she only appears once, Orlin's sacrifice symbolizes the cost of frontier life in the Star Trek universe, even for those connected to Starfleet heroes. Her loss, along with Sam's, further isolates Jim Kirk emotionally, deepening his complex relationship with duty, family, and loss. Peter Kirk, the nephew who survived, among the few members of Kirk's family who survived into adulthood is Peter Kirk, the son of Sam and Orlin. He appeared in Operation Annihilate as a young boy rescued after the attack on Deneva. Though his role was small, Peter represents a spark of hope amid tragedy, the last living branch of the Kirk family in the 23rd century. Expanded universe materials, novels, and comics have explored Peter's story further, with some depicting him following in his uncle's footsteps to join Starfleet. While those stories aren't considered canonical, they show how deeply the Kirk legacy resonated, both within the Federation and among fans eager to see his bloodline continue. Tiberius Kirk, the grandfather. Though never seen on screen, Kirk's grandfather Tiberius Kirk holds an important place in his family's mythos. He's the namesake for James' middle name and symbolizes the generational continuity of the Kirk family. Some non-canon sources describe him as a farmer from Iowa, while others portray him as a respected community figure who instilled values of hard work and integrity into his family. While Star Trek has never fully explored his life, the name Tiberius has become synonymous with strength and individuality, perfectly suiting the grandson who would one day captain the Enterprise. Carol Marcus, Kirk's love and the mother of his son. Though not technically a blood relative, Dr. Carol Marcus is essential to understanding Kirk's family legacy. A brilliant scientist and expert in molecular biology, Carol was one of Jim's greatest loves and the mother of his only known child, David Marcus. Their relationship was complicated. While deeply in love, Carol preferred to raise their son away from the dangers of Starfleet life. When she reappears in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, the reunion between Kirk and Carol is tinged with nostalgia and regret. She embodies the life that could have been for Kirk among the stars.